I got it, guys. I have all the lights on because it's out of battery. This car really reminds me of Need for Speed Underground 2. Welcome to this new video. So the story of this car begins, let's say, in a kind of strange way, and I'll say it was similar to how it was with the Nissan Silvia, in the sense that I wasn't looking to buy a car. I already had enough of them, but I was contacted by this guy who follows the channel that told me, look, there's a colleague of mine who has a car that he inherited and he has to sell. It seems to be a Japanese car. He doesn't even know what kind of car it is. If you need to get rid of it, blah, blah, blah. If you want, I'll ask him about it. He showed me the car, which was a Nissan 350Z. Unfortunately, it was a roadster. I say unfortunately because I personally prefer the coupe, but it was kept in pretty good condition. It had just been sitting outside near some wood for almost 2 years, so it was really dirty, but it had 65,000 kilometers on it, and it was driven by an old man, so I'd say it looked good, and so I went to see this car.
As you can see, the car was very dirty, with a few marks on the bodywork and a mark on the left front headlight. The rims were a bit marked on the edges, but it wasn't a big deal as they would have been changed anyway. The soft top was left open, and I'll explain why later.
By the way, it's unbelievable with the original exhaust. It's very quiet. This one here, if exhaust spare parts make a real mess.
The engine compartment was okay, just very dusty, full of leaves and spider webs.
After I had a look at it, after I turned it on, after I went around it as much as I could, because the car was stationary with flat tires and so on, I found some defects. There were scratches here and there, some marks on the bodywork, all the warning lights were on. I had already taken into account that it might be just because the battery was disconnected. You know, when the battery is disconnected, all the lights turn on at once. I asked to have the convertible top open because if it's broken, it's a good deal of money. The convertible top opened halfway and then it didn't move any longer, precisely because the battery was missing, and so we were stuck with the top half open. Oh, I forgot I did a test. Now I'm going to show you too. This thing here is a feeler gauge used when checking a used car. You use it to measure the amount of paint on the body of the car, so it measures the thickness between the raw metal and its, let's say we can call it sensor, its probes. Measure the distance, there's paint in the middle, and it tells you how much there is. The original paint of cars, the number that should come out on the feeler gauge is between 100 and 130. The range is, if you get 200, it means it's been repainted. If you get 800, it means there's 7 meters of putty underneath and the car's bent. So that's what you use this tool for. I used it all over the body of the car and it was fine. After doing all these tests, I bought this machine to do a whole project on the channel. This is the first real project on the channel, a bit like they do in America, and then we took it home.
I got it, guys. I have all the lights on because it's out of battery. Look at how few kilometers it has. It's out of battery, and so it's nothing but fucking errors, and I absolutely have to keep it on or I'm in a total mess. Holy crap. Why do I always do this stuff? Anyway, I'm happy. Come on. We're here ready. 2-bucket technique. And let's see what we can do. Since I couldn't turn it on except with jumper cables, and driving around was quite anxiety-inducing because I couldn't turn it off, otherwise it wouldn't turn on again. Since the battery was missing, I started washing it by hand to remove the bulk of the gunk that was on it. Nice job. We removed this stuff that was around the steering wheel. Now it's so much nicer. Look at this stuff. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's all the stuff that was outside. We washed it. Now it shines. Look how clean these are too. I also tried doing some scratch removal before taking it to the body shop and to the car retailer, and I must say that the result was extremely positive. Hey, the battery arrived. Let's open it. Yuck, that stinks. Holy smokes, what the F is in there? 14 pounds of half or something. After some cursing about the weight of the old battery, we installed the new one. It's much lighter and smaller, despite it being 14 kilos. Now that the car was running, we took it for a slightly more decent wash, though we still plan to visit a car detailer. so there's a bit of wind. I hope you can hear me. Now let's analyze the car behind me. Let's take a quick look. Let's take a quick look at what are the things that need to be changed, to be fixed. So first of all, the bumper catches my eye for sure. People like to hit the walls or whatever they are, so this definitely needs to be repainted, polished. Also, I see a mark here on the headlight. We need to ask if it's possible to polish it, maybe to fix it. There are a few swirl marks here, but the rest is actually not bad. We're definitely going to put a lip under the front that makes this snout a little thicker, a little more masculine, which is already very nice. I was thinking of slightly blacking out either the plastic of the headlight or even better, painting it black inside. It looks really nice. I'll show you what I mean later. I'd like to make the Nissan logo black as well. We're definitely going to change the rims. They're really nice. They're raised. You can see it upside down here and forged. Not bad. Really nice. Now I've washed them really well. They have some marks, as you can see here, but anyway, I don't want this rim. I want a much more ignorant rim, probably white. The bodywork, as you can see, all these marks here is really marked up, so I want to fix it all. This is a key mark, some piece of shit you see here. I don't know if I'll change the rear lights, maybe not. We're definitely going to change the exhaust. It wasn't even a question. Inside, though, it's well maintained to be washed. I'll go and make him do a detail. As you can see, it's all dirty and disgusting, even though I gave it a start of a wash. But absolutely, we're going to do a detail. It will definitely be disinfected. Obviously, we're going to change this knob because it's ugly and also turns, which is horrible. I didn't know it had the Bose system, on top of the fact that there's also a cassette deck. The car has the original Bose system, so it sounds really good. It's fantastic that originally it has oil pressure and battery voltage. Very much so. It's great that it also has this setting, because then if you want, you can change them, like you might turbocharge it, put the turbo pressure gauge here. We'll do a big service soon. Of course, I won't scan it, because first I want to put in new oil, a new filter. We're going to old school garage anyway, where I feel confident because I've never had issues. So when you find a mechanic who does a good job and doesn't give you trouble, always go to them. The soft top works, but I'll show you. Here, as you can see, there's a release. You press it like this and you're good. You push the open button, open the windows, pull the passenger seat forward, and all the movement begins. It opens, you see, it all goes down without any problems, but then that one doesn't close. I don't understand why, because if that one opens and closes when I close it, it's not like the engine is dead, you know? There's some sensor, some malfunction, because otherwise if that one's broken, it shouldn't close when I tell it to, right? It's going to be a sensor, I think, something like that. See that it closes, it closes. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a mini ride. I forgot to tell you that I obviously won't spoil all the changes we're going to make to this machine right now. However, this storage box is the most convenient thing there is. I mean, I put my phone in here and it was my navigator while I was driving. I mean, beautiful. Well, a great thing about this car is that it has storage everywhere. One here in front, one here in the middle, one here small. There in the back, he has like 3. First of all, but I like cars as much as I do. But it's great to try these new cars every time. There are those who are crazy about women to try new ones, and those who are crazy about cars. And those like me both. The first thing I noticed driving this car, or rather the first 2 things, the first of the 2 is the suspension, which is very comfortable. It is solid. It is absolutely not soft as a car. So despite the fact that it is not designed to be super sporty, but to be a Gran Turismo. So you enjoy it, you have a nice engine, nice sprint, 280 horsepower, you enjoy it. That is, you open the roof and drive up a mountain pass and enjoy. Because the setup is solid, it makes you have fun, but it's not stiff. And the second thing I noticed is having a big, naturally aspirated engine. This dancing knob really disgusts me. I can't wait to change it. It gives you a feeling you can't have with any other car. The Silvia is fast, the 86 is fast, it drifts okay, the Abarth has nice torque. Of course it's okay because it's light, the engine makes a lot of torque, you can feel 300 Newton meters, but the feeling of having the engine as huge as a 3005 naturally aspirated, so the reactivity is impossible to have. That is, you feel this very beast pulling you, that is, you feel the car.
The traction control is not active at the moment. I didn't like it. I didn't like them very much. I mean, I'd like to make him redo the corners a bit because it started sideways nicely, but then the steering didn't come back on its own. I had to help it. In fact, he was going to swing me on the other side, but oh well, fury of drifting. Let's say that you are not afraid of this stuff because anyway, you have already understood what the reactions of the car are. Let's say that it drives very well. The gearbox is very nice, but I already knew it. I want to do a good service. I would like to understand why it makes a little noise when I brake. I don't know if the pads need to be changed. Should I make a note of it?
Well, friends, that's it. This is the very first episode about the Nissan 350Z. So about its rebirth, its modification. Also, because we're at this part of the video, I'll show you a spoiler of how I would like it to turn out. You see it now superimposed. You see this picture. This is what I want to achieve, then maybe I'll add some customization of my own. But let's say the base I would like to achieve is exactly this. There will be about 10 episodes theoretically on this machine. I'm not going to spoil the changes we're going to make. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you, and see you in the next video.